help us to think a little bit more and to explore a little bit more of it and give us a feeling as to
So, we have someone over today. Okay. We're going to do an activity today. Starting out, and you have to think back, okay? Think back to your big Christmas. What Christmas is most memorable to you? Has several Christmases in your lives. Can you think of a Christmas that you'd like to share? And not everybody has to share, but I want you to think about it. It's a memorable story of some sort. It doesn't have to be, it can be funny, it can be, oh, that was terrible, or whatever you would like to share. Because as a church, we want to know some of these stories about each other. And maybe you all, I know you all know more stories than I do. So I'm just gonna take a moment, and what I'll do is share one of my favorite or most memorable Christmases. And it was the year that, it was actually just a few years ago. It's a memorable Christmas because I did all of the Christmas things that I wanted to do because I had time for it. It was our first year here. And two out of my three kids were coming and bringing their significant others and all of that. And I had everything looking beautiful in the house. And I know you don't know this about me, but I get overwhelmed with trying to make things look good often. And I have a youngest child who is a planner, who loves to make things look beautiful. And she would be, I mean, as young as I can remember, she's probably 5 or 6, going, Mom, why can't we do this? And why can't we do that? And why can't Dad hang from the roof and put lights out, you know? And her poor dad is afraid of heights, so that's why he never put lights out on the house. I think he did it 1 year, and then no more. He was like, I can't do that. And why, you know, we're just, you know, why aren't we a better family in her eyes, you know? And but this year I made everything, our new home look good. Everything was put together, and it felt perfect. And the reason I think it felt so perfect is that I was missing our kids so much that year. And they were at a place in their lives that they weren't little kids anymore, and they could just come in and hang out, and we would lay on our bed. We have a king size bed, and the girls and I would lay on our bed and talk, and we had such a great time because it was a couple of weeks really. And for me, the reason it was so special is that I did all this ahead of time, and I wasn't worried about anything going well or not, because everything was done, everything was ready, and all we had to do was enjoy each other. And so for me, that was a memorable Christmas. Does anybody else have a memorable Christmas you'd like to share?
I can go back to when we were in the old sanctuary. We had Christmas Eve services at midnight. And we put candles, no lights on, candles in the windows. But that to me was the most, that was the first time I had ever done it. I was 16.
Oh, that was a little while.
A long time. But it meant so much because it drew everybody. You just drew close together. I don't know how to explain it. You just felt like, you felt the love of God walking through the church.
That's it.
So that was my favorite.
Wonderful. Anybody else? That's a memorable Christmas. Yeah.
My dad hours after Christmas.
Right.
So not the next day.
Yeah.
So strange to go to Christmas.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
A funny one that I had, I was into blocking Christmas. Usually you did it yourself.
Gotcha.
And oh, biggest man always, take it outside the pocket or it's got a drag it in the house. Lori had just started dating Bill and I got it all decorated and everything and it started blooming and it was in my, I don't think it was the same day, I can't remember all that, but I had decorated it. It was, and I saw it and I screamed, somebody come help me. And so Erwin food with it, and he got it out and he pulled those lights out, he picked that Christmas tree up from the living room, he goes through just a little bit of a hall and then into the den and a big door that you open. Picked that thing out, walked out on the patio and threw it. Tore his pickup truck. So he wouldn't have it. And here comes Lori with a new boyfriend. What in the world is Erwin doing this?
Merry Christmas.
I got all the ornaments off and I guess I got a new tree. I don't remember.
It was a little overflocked.
I guess. You'd have to know Erwin though, he's not gonna put up with anything like that.
I'll get you a new tree.
Yeah, that's really true. Oh my goodness.
I think too, really, one I was gonna say, but she reminded me, that's 3 years, because our kids, we just get who we can get, because they're all,
Yeah.
he's 30, 38 altogether, Wade's the only one here, so.
Mm-hmm.
With grandkids, anyway, so whoever gets here, but I think it's 3 years ago, for some reason, I forget what was going on, I was so busy, and I always do, realtors.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't had time and everything. So I went down behind the house and cut a little sapling out, made a little, couple of decorations, made a Charlie Brown tree,
Charlie Brown tree.
and put the presents under.
Oh my goodness.
But what I was gonna say is, back, years ago, when my parents were still alive, we'd get the kids out and we'd go to their house for breakfast on Christmas morning. And one year, my dad and I were kind of in sports cars, and little MG midgets were real cheap back then, simple. And Dad and I were talking about it, and so the dealer here in town, we were friends with the dealer. So we bought one for my dad. I'm not thinking Mom got to pay for it, I don't know. But anyway, it wasn't very expensive back then, so I kept it at the house, away. And so, drove over to their house Christmas morning, next to the kids in the car. I took that and drove up there, sent me in the driveways, another one with a bow on it. So he bought me one, and we bought him one.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a little variation of the gift of the Magi.
What colors did you end up?
Well, mine was actually an MG midget, same that basically British Racing Green. His was a Sprite that was red.
Gotcha. Oh my goodness, that's such a great.
Did anybody know that both of them were kids?
No, well, I don't think so.
And the dealer didn't let on.
No, he had, and he had to make sure that
Hey, he sold 2 cars.
he was down there at the same time or talk. He had to play both ends against the middle.
Yeah. So he was really the only one that knew both were
Yeah.
coming.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's a great story. Anyone else want to share?
I don't think I've ever had any good Christmases with Bill, so, no, I'm
Oh.
teasing. I'm teasing. I think one of the best Christmases I ever had was, I call it the spirit of giving, and it's the kind of Christmas that made me want to do the same thing for other people. It taught me a lesson. When I was in my 20s, I lived in this little apartment, and I worked 2 jobs, and I really didn't have any money at all. I was barely making it, but I was surviving, and my family had it. So we literally didn't have a Christmas that year. Some years we did. And so a friend of mine knew about this. So she and her boyfriend went and got me all these presents.
Oh my goodness.
And I can still see them at the door with all these presents in their hand to give to me. I had nothing to give to them. It wasn't so much that I got the presents. It's just the giving, and I think it taught me a lesson. And I always say to give, you know, like we gave to the kids at the church. I do that too, I'm sure. Things, toys for dogs, whatever. And so it taught me a lesson. Maybe that was Jesus at that door with all those presents.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I love that. Any others?
you don't have anything, Dave?
I just remember after Christmas one year, the same thing about the tree. We were in an apartment, third floor, and I thought, tinsel and all, and I'm gonna throw it off the balcony, and it landed in the tree right there.
And it was
Looked at it for like
It's-
6 months.
It was brown and
Tinsel
everything
and
was
everything
green.
all waving.
That was
Like
funny.
it was up and up.
It was
up
the
and
top of the
up.
tree, right, pine tree, right in front
Oh
of
my goodness, you had to wait for it to kind of fall down on its own.
it. It was brown and tinsely for like,
Yeah, it
of a
was,
year.
yeah.
explain it to anybody that came to visit.
That's funny.
We also had a peach tree in our apartment. And it gave us the biggest peaches I've ever seen. It was at our apartment just one.
One
So we
year.
had peaches all year. It was good.
That's something.
Well, my son's birthday is December the 4th. So one of the memorable ones is not the first Christmas, because he was a baby, but his second Christmas when he was up walking and he was running around, you know, opening up his presents. And my grandmother, I never will forget this. My grandmother, I spelled Jonathan's name, which is typical, Jonathan. Well, she said that's not Jonathan, that's Jonathan. So she sat there and we had it on video screaming, Jonathan, come here, Jonathan. So it was kind of, I just will never forget that. My grandmother just was adamant that I misspelled his name,
Gotcha.
you know.
Grandmothers sometimes think they know best.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot mine. That's right. So, moving forward, don't pay any attention to that one. So we did already tell us about a memorable Christmas you had. The next thing we want to talk about is our names. You know how important names are, and in the Bible, names are absolutely very important.
Hard to pronounce.
Jonathan's, yes. So I want us to go around and tell us about our families, and I know a lot of us know about each other's families, their names, and a story about the origin of their name or your name. If you know where your name came from, or maybe there's a story as to why you are named what you're named. My name, of course, is Karen. And one of the reasons I was named Karen is that my older siblings didn't like Judith. Because my father wanted to name me Judith. And I'm the youngest of 5, so therefore, the older kids had a lot to say about it. And so the other name that was up for discussion was Karen. And they said that's much better. And they were running out of names. So, you know, they're at that point where it's like, well, okay, how about Karen? You know, I mean, that was kind of the way it went.
I'm just not a Judith.
I'm not a Judith, no. But a funny thing about that name is that I used to think that Judy was such a cute name as a little girl. I was like, I wish my name was Judy. I wish my name was Judy. And I didn't know that was the whole story behind it until much later. So,
Considering what they've done to Karen though these days.
I know,
It makes
I know.
me mad. Every nice Karen
I know.
I've ever, they've been good people.
They ruined spam too.
Yeah.
You like the
Yeah.
meat.
Yes, yes. So, think about your name, or a person is just gonna go around and just share, have you share, all the names of your kids or people in your, that are in your immediate family that you spent time with over the years. And then share one story. And you don't, again, you don't have to share if you don't want to. You can take a pass, and that's totally fine. But we're just gonna talk about that for just a minute.
Let's start and go around, so.
Susan, do you have something?
Start and go around, that'd be simple.
Start, yeah, I'll start and go around.
Well, my daughter's name is Adrian Suzanne. My son's name is Jonathan Christopher. And my grandson is Stryker Copeland. And Stryker, you know, I thought that was a really odd name when she first started naming my grandson. He's named after a famous fisherman. My daughter, was following fishing for a while, and she heard that name and she just loved it, so she named him Stryker after that. And his middle name, of course, is a family name from his dad's side of the family. So that's where that interesting name comes from. And if you ever go to a hospital and you look at a bed, it'll say Stryker on it. So, and that's not where his name came from, but
Is it the same spelling?
the same spelling.
Yeah, okay.
I've
It's
never known if
I hadn't either.
my
it suits him. He's full of energy.
Yes, he is.
I'm trying to remember. Somebody says, "Yeah, that sounds like a lawyer's name." I'm like, okay. Yeah. But then I'm named after my mother, who was Sue. And then I had a great-great-grandmother whose name was Doshi, but they called her Susie. So technically I'm named after her too. And then my middle name is Kathleen, which is my grandmother's name.
How about you, Bonnie?
I'm just thankful that mother's family didn't name me. The three sisters was Willie Ruth, Wilma Lou, and Ruby Lee. But my daddy named me. He came from England, or his family came from England. And Gone with the Wind was, very popular and everything. He named me Bonnie.
Bonnie.
But the meaning for Bonnie is beautiful. And that's why he said he named me that. I guess that's why I love my daddy so much.
Yeah.
My girls, Debbie is Deborah Lee. Lee was everybody's middle name on my daddy's side. Denise is named Denise Marie. Marie was my favorite cousin growing up. We were best friends. I got to include the Actons. They were the wonderful family. And I said Lee was my mother, that was Acton's middle name. All the Actons, Donnie Lee, and I was,
they're all.
everybody's a Lee. So.
Scott was the first child. He just turned 60 this year.
Oh my gosh, Julie.
Anyway, I wanted to name him Robert Scott. Herman's name is Robert Earl. And so many people in our family is called by the middle name. It causes a lot of confusion. But anyway, my sister-in-law, Rita, took me to the hospital. And he was early. And she said, I got to tell you something. Early is just having a fit because she won't name this child Early. It's like some country barefoot little boy, whichever it was. So anyway, I was drugged up, I guess. So I ended up dropping Robert and naming Earl Scott. So guess what? I ended up money. So that's where his name came from. You didn't hear many Scotts back then. And then Lori, Scott named her. Scott was in daycare across the street from Chevrolet years when I was working. And he liked this little girl. And her name was Laurie. But I changed Lori to Lori, L-O-R-I, and then L-E-I-G-H. different from your lady. And then I was the oldest of six, so I'm an opposite problem.
Yeah.
And mother was very creative. She read a lot, and she made my sister wrong. Oh, poor girl, she's got to live with that. She made my name up, Geraldine, J-E-R-E, Jerry Lynn. But pronounce it altogether, Gerald. Never pronounced anything. I went by Jerry, but I heard of Geraldine one after I married, and she went to Auburn and she was a beauty queen. But she spelled hers Jerolyn. And very often, more often than you think, I have somebody has been looked at my license and said, my goodness, we have a Gerald. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was into a different life, and she said, you have my mother's name, and it's spelled just like that. So strange when you make up a name, and yet years later, you begin to see them. That's the most excitement I have.
That's interesting though. That's interesting, yeah. Because names are important. How about you, Mr. Kirk? Do you have something you want to share? Tell us about your.
Where'd you get your name? Didn't you, wasn't it your granddaddy or somebody or something? Okay, you're a chief.
Wanda calls you Hermie Lou. Wanda calls you Hermie Lou. And where did that come from?
We'll never know.
We'll find out when we meet her in heaven.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And so is Kirk your middle name?
Lewis, I'm named after my dad, Herman Lewis.
Lewis. So where did Kirk come from then?
I was going with the girl and we went to see Kirk in the business. He started calling me Kirk and I mean Kirk is the same.
You carry that woman around with you still.
That's great.
She wasn't gonna let you go.
She must have thought you were as handsome as Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, I guess so.
There we go. There we go.
All about family, all along.
Yeah. How about you, Ollie?
I'm not talking about kids, because Miss Smith was 40, 30,
Yeah, 38.
38,
Probably some more on the way.
at least one break, at least one more break for long. But anyway, not to be self, talk about self, but too many others talk about.
Yeah.
Some of you know, about my wife, she got me Butch,
Yeah.
which is what I was called until I started school, because I'm a junior.
Right.
And my granddaddy's middle name was Ollie. But when I was born, my dad was a great athlete. Like he started talking about doing professional athletics instead of going into the wrestling business. But pardon? Baseball, most, he was a good baseball player back in the day. But anyway, he had athlete friends, a couple of professional football players who were good friends of his. And so when I was born, I said, we can't call him Ollie because he, I guess you call him junior or something. Any kind of junior, just like Wade. Wade is a third, and he's
Yeah.
the middle name. So, but he's gonna, because he's Ollie's son, he's gonna be a big tough bruiser, so he's gonna Butch.
Oh.
So that's why I'm such a.
Yeah, I love it. That's, well, I've been wondering where Butch came from, so, because I've heard Nancy call you that, and okay, there's a story.
It's interesting when you know, let's say, everybody in the church, everybody in the family, that's all I was ever called. only when I started school, teacher used Ollie.
Mhm.
And, over the years, and the hosts will call me George because they knew me from way back at Crestline Church
Mhm.
and, a few other people. But as time's gone on, family and my original church family years ago are all gone.
Mhm.
So very few people, there are few people, but very few.
Mhm. But you'll answer to either.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes I don't, it's kind of like when you fluent in two languages, and
Mhm.
sometimes it doesn't register what somebody said, which language they said it in.
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't register, like, Lynn Thomas. Sometimes I'm thinking, because God always said it. So, if you think with God,
Yeah.
By the way, excuse me for interrupting. Did I understand that you said that Caleb and Susan had another baby?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
They're moving to
I know
New
that.
Jersey in the next couple of weeks.
well, actually,
Yeah, no.
said that, Nona was down here.
Desiree,
Desi had another.
Daisy had another baby.
Desi, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she had the baby the day before the funeral.
Okay.
So, yes,
Okay, that's,
yes. So, okay, that's a great story. I like that. How about you, Janet?
Mine's just gonna be one simple thing. I was born, I believe, in the year of Hurricane Janet, which was
Oh.
like one of the highest force hurricanes ever. And I was named that, and I think I've lived up to it. That's all I can say.
You're powerful like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of wild and untamed like Janet
Yeah, under
sometimes.
force. And Bill is just nodding. How about you, Bill? Do you have any stories around names?
Actually, that's my middle name. I'm a Gordon.
Gordon, okay.
From a bunch of English side of family, but
Mhm.
kind of maybe it's a humorous story. I had a bunch of Chinese engineers at work that we worked with, and they were all visiting. One guy was late. I looked up his flight information, and I couldn't even pronounce his name. It was supposed to be Jackie Wang, and his name's Sai Ping something, began with an X.
Mhm.
Well, where is this guy? Who is this guy? Oh, that's Jackie. He's just late. Oh, here comes a taxi with him. He's fine.
Mhm.
So later they saw my tag there, and it just explained that Jackie was his American name.
Mhm.
Sai Ping was his China name. Oh, okay. So one guy's Elvis. Oh, that's his American name. His real name is who knows who can. So they see my name as Gordon. I said, yeah, that's my American name. I just go by Bill for you guys. Okay, now we know it.
That's just for tourists.
Yeah, just for business.
That's great.
So you can pronounce it.
All right, well, our next question is, take a moment to think about the people who were heroes in your life. Tell us their names and why they were a hero to you. Do you have some heroes that come to mind in your life?
I gotta say, he's a good guy. He's just,
You're sweet. You're my
I shouldn't have
hero,
gone
too.
first, but he's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
When I met him, I had my trials and troubles when I first met him, and he just was a good guy. He came with great values, great family, just a good, solid guy.
Mhm.
Y'all were so romantic.
Remember, she snatched me bald-headed that first time. Took me a while to straighten out.
That's because she's a hurricane.
Yeah, exactly.
She wasn't gonna let you go.
No.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, we're starting on this end, so we'll go back around. Heroes.
You're my hero.
No.
You're my hero.
Yeah.
I don't know, there are a lot of people I've admired.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're not talking about heroes outside of the personal sphere, like some great leader or that kind of thing. I know my dad, of course.
Yeah.
To a large extent, and perhaps a couple other things, but embarrassed to say, one person stands out. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
And Don Thomas was one.
Yeah.
Don was pastor briefly at Homewood back in the old church long years ago. And got to know him. Whatever. Long time pastor for him, Bill Todd.
What was it about when you shared who your heroes are? What is one quality that stands out for you in the people that you named as heroes?
Just good character.
Good
I don't know if
character.
that's one quality in particular, just good character.
Yeah.
Trustworthy.
How about you, Bill? What was one quality?
Something that she always does is she's not afraid to tell me when I'm not acting. A lot of people won't.
That's good.
A lot of people just kind of like,
But you ain't trying all the
but
time.
she'll just kind of pull me aside and say, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
That's a
appreciate it
beautiful
because I
thing.
kind of need that.
Okay, back to you, Wally.
One character. Yes, well, it goes along with being a hero, but being a role model and living a Christian life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simple way to put it, but
Yeah.
not too definitive, but
But that's whatever stands out, right? When you think about those people, what stands out? And that's big. How about you, Mr. Kirk?
Well, I just had to get my granddaddy, I lost with my parents before I was school.
Right.
But my granddad always told me that I had to make the decision I was have to find out what I wanted to do and go and don't jump around and do it, but
Make a
to
decision.
make a decision and stick with it.
So that's admirable for someone to kind of give you that guidance like that. Yeah. Yeah. And people in your generation never, once you decided that was it, right? And we have a lot of kids doing a lot of different things now.
Well, yeah, but he had to do something.
Yep, you gotta do something. Yeah. That's cool. How about you, Jerry?
Well, I was just thinking, yes, I love Don Just, all of us will have him around. Mine's kind of unusual, I would say, Jane. Rather than me leaving her, she leaves me. An example, when she was going to Africa, I was nervous wreck, because so much stuff was going on at the time she was there. And I thought, what a dose to do, why are they taking the kids? It's such a dangerous place, and I still don't know about it. But anyway, she said, Grandma, we have prayed about this, and God will take care of this. You quit worrying about it, all that worry is not helping, it's upsetting you. I said, okay. I talked to my neighbor whose daughter is a minister, and she's gone. And she pretty much told me the same thing. Well, I survived it, she survived it, and just a few days after she came home, they had a shooting in our local. It didn't happen, I don't know if it happened when other people were getting money, that's not what I mean, that's where Taylor and Bruce got, they were also the money to go out and swing. But, and right now, the mother's having some issues, and she's given her very good advice.
She's a very grounded human.
Very. So being your age, there's a lot of kids like this. And,
So I'm not just bragging about her, but she's a heck of a mom.
Yeah.
I see so many young people who are like her, who him and God. And it's happening for a reason. You just turn to him and he will guide you and just, she went on to, Indianapolis, last weekend.
Oh.
I didn't say it. She got from here to Atlanta fine. She got in Indianapolis, and you can imagine the snow. Had a snowstorm while she was there, and everything went fine except when she got to Atlanta, she was stuck to catch another plane. But young people are doing a lot of reading.
We can't let them get lost in the shuffle of those who aren't doing a great job. We have to remember them and encourage them, because sometimes what we see in media, we kind of think, oh, this generation,
Yeah, the
Right.
broad brush
Yeah.
thing.
the broad brush thing. And so we have to remember there are people like Taylor and they don't know stories. No, they
I
don't.
missed all the people on TV now. I don't mean guests, I mean like news people and things like that, how often God is mentioned. Now, on Fox, almost all of them are women and on crosses.
Yeah,
Now, everything about God is mentioned, and of course, I'm Fox doing other stations, but it's such a difference in what it is doing.
I think people are starting to turn to the Lord, whether we understand or see it or not.
So many people are so much to church, I don't know if it's supposed to be on that, it's ill, I don't know if that's so bad. Don't correct kids,
Pray for them. How about you, Bonnie?
I changed my mind. There's so many that McKenna won to go through what she's gone through without saying, why me, why me, why me? My childhood, I had an uncle that he was a farmer, very poor, but he would work all day long. He was a dairy farmer. That means milking twice a day. But he would take us on hay rides. He would take us to movies. And you knew he had to be tired, but he showed love all the time. It was just amazing. But going to what Jerry just said about young people, now I did not watch the TV show, the awards show, but Jelly Roll, you've been reading that?
No, but I know a little bit about him.
He stood up for Jesus. I mean, he stood up for Jesus. He didn't care.
Oh, yeah, he's outspoken, and he's.
That really impressed me. Like I said, I didn't watch it, but I've been reading everything that he had to say, and it was amazing.
I love his music.
If you'll listen to
See, I've
his
never
music,
listened.
It's good
if you'll
music.
listen to his music, he talks about, in his music, about all the horrible things that he's been through and done, and how God's brought him through it all. So,
Well, he's
Very soulful musician.
I have to listen to him because, like I said, that really, really impressed me.
Very brave with his
Yes.
audience. I'm not talking about TV audience, I'm talking about people that were
That they are, yeah.
that are completely opposite.
But it shut him up. Nobody said anything. As far as I understand it, nobody had a nerve to say anything to him.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So I had three.
So maybe he's somebody's hero that doesn't have any heroes in their life. They're standing for Christ.
Well, he should be all of our heroes because of standing up like he did, just like Kurt did, not being afraid to stand up for God. Because I think we're going to have to answer for us not standing up like we should.
And he can make a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah, he can. Susan.
well, having grown up with a non-proper father figure, my dad disappeared from my life when I was like 10, and my stepfather was very cruel, and he was not what you would consider a proper father figure. My grandfather, which was actually a step-grandfather, he's not biologically related, but he was my grandfather from the day I was born. He loved me and took care of me and was there for me when nobody else was. And then Richard Ellis, the two of them showed me what a proper father should be. I mean, they both loved me and would have done just about anything for me.
Love is kind of a theme here. My hero is kind of like what Jerry's was mentioning, our oldest daughter, Morgan. She has been in love with Jesus since she was 5 years old. And her faith was simple but strong. When she was 17, she decided she wanted to start her own ministry. And so she started a Breaking Free ministry, is what she called it. And it was for homeless folks. And she would put together bags of, necessity bags. And she would go with her youth group. They would go downtown and, get out food and stuff and talk to people. And she interviewed people. What would you need in these bags? And she found out bungee cords. So she got somebody to donate bungee cords. She went to Walmart and asked for a donation. They gave her a donation. She wrote a grant that a nonprofit was offering to young people to start ministries. Got a $1,000 grant for this ministry. And I say all of that, not saying she hasn't had her struggles, but her passion for the downtrodden, for people who are in need, has carried her throughout her life. And she sees people that are broken. And she doesn't just say, oh, that's too bad. She goes and tries to fix it. She's a better Christian than I am, in many ways. And I know that is, you can't really measure that. But she has always been that kid. People look upon her at times, they don't know her as someone who could be just a mess, because she has a weight problem, and they discriminated against her, and doctors have discriminated against her. They don't listen to her. But she stands, and here she is because of Jesus. So, she's my hero. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. She's a good kid.
And she found a mate.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he sees her. He is an answer to prayer. Okay. Our next and final. This is important. It's different than above, like the hero. Tell us about someone who helped you in your faith journey.
I'd have to say everyone here is helping me in my faith journey, especially all of y'all. But the person who first got to me was Jan Overton. Jan Overton had a way of...
From Crestline.
Yeah, from Crestline. I mean, I went in there, I don't even know if I was really a Christian, kind of worldly, and she kind of straightened me out. I get more and more moving toward that. I joke and say I'm wild and untamed. That's kind of been, I don't mean to be self-centered either, but the worldliness in me has sort of been tamed out, and Jan started that. So if you ever see her, tell her I said that.
That's wonderful.
Maybe you need to tell her.
Yeah, well, we need to call her sometimes. I know she does go and preach sometimes at different churches, but not you know, her husband now has Alzheimer's, so she has to take care of him, but, yeah.
Nancy talked to the fairly recently.
Oh, she's a good egg, I like her.
Where does she go?
I saw her, she has a YouTube, and I saw where she had gone to a church, but I forget the name of the church, I just saw her preaching. And I was glad, because Dan, to me, has, like you, a gift. And, you know, I'm glad she's getting out and using it a little bit. It's hard when she's having to be a caretaker too. But,
It's gotta be good for her.
yeah, it's good for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where is
You know, we can go name was.
I think for me, it was Bernie's Jones.
I've heard stories about
Betty,
these.
that was one. I bet Bernice, I didn't know from school at home. And that's when I was pregnant with her. And of course, we were all young. And I've been in church my whole life, but I've never actually been in a adult Bible study. I was never alone with my mother. And it was interesting. There were a lot of us there that did it a lot. And she did it in a simple way, didn't discriminate as far as us not knowing her too much. Not judgmental, very loving. But the main thing I guess she taught most of us is to follow through, is to kind of get it for yourself. I'm leading you, I'm trying to teach you, and you don't want to stay. And we bring me in the Bible. That's all I'll say, you get lives and parents.
I double everything you said. She was just an amazing woman, and we had trouble with a preacher in our church split, and I went to her and questioned her about it. And she said, Bonnie, I can tell you what I believe. But she said, get your Bible and read it and see what you get from it. And I went home and did, and I felt peace and calm with everything. I wish you could have known her. She was amazing. But her Bible studies, she never judged anybody. She never said, well, you've got to be this way. It was just, she was amazing. That's all I have to say.
She even gave us good other advice.
Yes.
As young women and as mothers. And I remember it didn't affect us at that point because we already had our husband. But I remember her saying, the best advice for a young girl, and boy, I have preached it to my daughter and my granddaughter, is you date somebody and you see something really bad, a bad character, and then you say, I can change that. He's so good looking. Don't go out with him anymore.
Yeah, don't think for a moment that you
Because
can
that
change
doesn't
it.
always work. Because
Don't
sometimes
date somebody
after you're married, other characters come out that you didn't see. But I thought it was very good.
That's why I snatched Bill bald-headed. I didn't want him to be too good looking. So.
Anybody else want to share about your faith journey? People that were formative in your faith journey?
I didn't mention Ray. I guess I should have, with him being a retired minister.
Not really retired.
He said, they never do. But we have had Bible studies, just he and I, and we've had discussions, and I've disagreed with things that he has said. He showed me where he believed what, and I showed him where I believed what. And he is a good man. He's just, I've never heard him say anything against anyone. He's never put anybody down. And you know how you get home and you say, well, so-and-so just, messed up my life. He's never done that in all these years that I've known him. So he's a amazing person.
guess y'all are gonna think this is kind of strange, but
Not
Coming from you.
strange to me. Nothing.
my children have helped me grow in my faith because I have spent more time praying about them than I have anything else. Yes.
Sanctification. Sanctification.
They have put me through some trials and, you know, you just, I mean, as much as you turn it over to the Lord, you know, it still bothers you. And unfortunately, my son, some of the trials that he put me through and he put his other family, his dad's family through, is coming back to bite him.
You read what you said.
He just, and he doesn't understand why people don't forget and forgive. And, you know, they might forgive, but they don't necessarily forget. And so, you know, praying for them, you know, all these years has really been the thing that's helped me a lot because, and then since I joined the CPW and I've been so involved with the CPW, there are some really incredible women in the CPW that have really touched my life. Nancy being one of them.
Yes. She always made anything she was involved in, made it fun, and yet we learned so much from her. You have to tell her we sat down. We all love her.
And I never will forget her
Yeah.
hats, with the fruit hat that she wore to CPW women. I loved it.
Anybody else want to share? Bill, you didn't say.
Yeah, come on, Billy.
Well, you know, listening to everybody,
Mhm.
I kind of don't have one person. I feel like a pendulum. I've
Yeah,
had lots of
I
nudges
have to.
by lots of different people
Yeah.
growing up in the church.
Mhm.
And Pastor Jen, Pastor Ken, even people like on the internet, that
Yes.
David Guzik guy.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy to
He's
stop
good,
and
yeah, I
say,
like
you
his-
know, Christ came and he forgave all the sins of the past. And you're wrapped in his righteousness when he's in you, so that you can come before God blameless as he sees Christ. And you can pray. And he helps you as you go forward. But the big thing was what he did to give you his righteousness. Good stuff, little bits and pieces. I'm just a pendulum, a nudge.
Griffin has done some things for him
He's
in
been
that he's
good.
taught us a lot about the Bible. He went to Birmingham Southern and he was a history major and Bible stuff, and he will tell you things that you would never have known about, like Martin Luther, people like that. And also Matt, our former minister, he was on fire for God. I mean, he grew our church. It slimmed down again. He would get out there and dig in the dirt for the garden. He was that kind of person, you know.
He was still taking classes.
He's
and
just
other
that kind
people
of
that
person. I
were-
love them.
and
They've
knew
all
him.
been good.
They'd say, I don't understand how you can be a pastor, you're so angry.
Yeah, because, well, he was a business person. And he said when he became a minister, he learned more empathy and compassion. Because in business, maybe you have to be a little bit cutthroat. I don't know. I've never been a leader in that context, but so maybe. Anyway.
It's interesting the different influences we've all had. They're not all the same types of people. They're all very different. And like you said, Bill, there's lots of little things. Okay, over here, this person spoke into my life. This person, you know, when I first came to Christ, there was a woman, and I was in a 12-step recovery group. There was a woman, and I don't even remember her name now. Annette was her name. And she was so on fire for Jesus. She was in a recovery group with me. I fell in love with Jesus through these people. She was one of those people. She was my leader in this group. And those are the kind of people, the kind of things that I think we need to continue to reflect on over our lives, because sometimes we forget all that God has done for us through these people, through what he's provided, through all these different influences. And so, so I'm going to end our time here with just a little bit of, they asked me to tell about how God has called me to this church, but I think you all have heard that enough. So I'm going to move on unless anybody else, anybody wants to hear more about that. But we have homework. I'm sorry. I have homework for you. What was that, Lonnie?
I'll send it
Okay. Okay. So next week, I would like you to bring a small bath or hand towel.
We're not gonna watch things.
I was gonna say.
Bring a bath towel, a small hand towel or bath towel, just to dry your
We
face.
gotta do laundry, too.
Yeah. And I'll have extra, don't worry. And then I have a handout here for you. Now, I want your sincere opinion on this. When you dig into this, number one, I will tell you already, when you look at this, you'll go, why is the print so small? Because, I need glasses, but I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, that is tiny. So there are 4 activities in this little packet that I encourage you to dip your foot into. Take a look at it and see what you think about it. And let's just pass them down and I'll just go over them just a little bit so you kind of get a sense of what you're getting into.
Better write hand towel on here too. I forget my name if it wasn't right now.
And then, and read Acts 2:42 to 47, and that's actually on your handout as well. So in this, once everybody gets it in front of them, there are 4, do you have enough?
yes.
For both of you to
Yeah,
have?
we'll
we
share
just share.
it. We always share.
Okay, that's all right, because you're gonna need to do some writing.
It's all right, I got paid.
Okay, okay.
Writing, okay, wait a minute, there's 2. All he passed is 2.
Yeah, there should be enough.
Yes,
Okay.
he did.
There's supposed to be 10 of them, so there should be a couple
Yeah.
extra.
Couple extra.
All he did.
So the first activity you do is a prayer activity. And that's kind of between you and God.
Actually, there's 3 of them. So,
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry.
just read it through, and it's about the Lord's Prayer.
Did we sing it?
Our Father. The number of times I've heard my mother and her sister sing that arrangement of the Lord's Prayer, I've lost count.
No, I want the one I was listening to this morning.
Yes. And then there's a story activity where you're going to be reading Acts 2:42 to 47. And there's just some questions to answer and some reflection. So it's going to be kind of an activity. This is going to be really time with the Lord. You're going to be talking to the Lord and all that mess. I mean, good things. That's not mess, sorry. That's not what I meant. No, that's not what I meant.
Our preacher didn't say that.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. No, that's not mess. And then there's a community activity. So it's encouraging you to go to your church and talk to people a little bit. This is the activity. While at church, engage someone with this question. I am part of being the church class, and I'm supposed to ask someone this question. How long have you been part of this church, and how did you end up here? So ask questions of the people around you. How did you end up at this church? And there's a story, that will follow it. And then write down what you heard. The reflection to think about. So there's going to be a lot of reflecting. with the Lord. And then the last one is the worship activity. Now, this one is a little tricky because it's that time of year where we're not probably going to go for a walk because it might be raining or slippery or something. But it says, let's take a walk. As you walk, use this as an opportunity to worship God. You can walk around your house. You can also just follow the stages that it's telling you. When you start walking, stage 1, reflect on your childhood. What are you thankful for about your childhood? Stage 2, think about high school or university or early career years. What things did you learn about life? And stage 3, think about being a young adult, parent, employment, jobs, grandparent, and or retirement, depending on where you are in life. What were the important events during those times? Where did you seek God? That's the most important part of all of this. Where did you seek God? Because we are a part of one another and we share our experiences. I mean, that's what we did throughout our Bible studies, our Bible study that we did. We talked about, experiences that we were reminded of when we were reading something from Scripture or reading some of the questions. Our lives make a difference. They shape. The Lord shapes us through our lives. Let's put it that way. And because you're a member of a church, you are shaping the church. And this Sunday, this is just a little commercial for this Sunday, I'm starting a series on what is the church. So that's the question we're going to be answering on Sunday.
Today's the birthday.
Oh, this is the official birthday, the 4th of February of the CPC.
How old is the church?
1810.
1810. Yeah, 1810.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
They still got the little building.
Yeah. That's really, that's
You ever been there?
Mhm. Yeah, I need to go. So, and it's also Caleb
It's
Peters'
amazing.
birthday.
Yeah,
I
Caleb's
wish I had
birthday's
his
today.
memory.
Right.
I
Caleb
can't remember
Peters,
my name
his
sometimes.
birthday's today.
It's not what,
Yeah. He's 6 years old today. So, with that, that's your homework. Try to get it done, and we'll talk about it a little bit next week. And next week, we will be doing a lot more about talking about what it means when you've joined something. What was the initiation? Because I'm going to bring more into that even, because I was just in a group of people last week, the opt-in pastors that are doing this. And one thing that struck me is that one of the pastors said, anything that you do in life, there are requirements. There are expectations that you have to fulfill. You want to be a part of, a sports team, you want to be a part of any kind of civic group, whatever it is, there are expectations. Why is it that when a church expects something of their members, people go, what? We need to expect. If you're going to be a member of a church, there are certain things that a person does, their practices, how they engage God, how they engage one another. Those are all important things, and so we're going to talk more about that next week. Now, prayer requests.